Earlier this week, state police announced 50-year-old Richard Allen is in jail. He's accused of killing Abby Williams and Libby German back in 2017. But the Carroll County prosecutor asked a judge to seal all the records in the case, even though those records are supposed to be available to the public. Now, 13 News has been fighting to find out how and why details of the crime are being kept secret.
We have been outside this crime scene for a week now, and there are a lot of questions about the evidence inside and what actually happens to it. And just last night, we were standing in this spot. We're pretty much here all the time for the most part. We saw detectives walking out with brown bags in their hands, but we still don't know exactly what was inside. It was an interesting development, though. There were some very, very large bags, and it seemed like they went in to gather some kind of evidence and then came out about an hour later. Idaho State Police Forensic Services, they're pouring.
Less than an hour ago, we were here, and about 5 plainclothes investigators, we don't know if they're local, state, federal, they were inside, and we saw a lot of activity inside the home, and the home was lit up. So we were able to peek in some of the windows, but we saw those men inside the home in the 2 particular rooms where the murders took place. We did not see them leaving with any materials. I asked them a couple of times, why are they back? They did not answer me. They pulled away in 2 vehicles. One had a Washington State plate, the other had an Idaho plate. But that is all we can tell you. But we did see a lot of activity. This house was lit up for nearly an hour. They were inside. We don't know why. Nothing seemed to be removed. But as you know, Ashley, yesterday, a lot of the kids' belongings were removed by Moscow police to be returned.
Investigative reporter Bob Siegel joins us with some new details. Bob.
13 Investigates appealed directly to the judge, the prosecutor, and to state court administrators to get answers. Just hours after we sent those emails, the court decided to publicly release more information about the arrest of Richard Allen. We now know Allen's initial bail was set at $20 million. We have an online case summary showing past and upcoming court dates. We have a case number so the public can now follow new details and events in the case. And following our questions, the court posted this notice, setting a date for a public hearing for the judge to determine whether important records in the case will remain under seal. All that information now appears on the state's public court website where anyone can see it, instead of being hidden like it has been. Not have is the detailed probable cause affidavit, which details why police believe Allen is responsible for the deaths of the 2 Delphi girls. That is supposed to be public and is still being kept under seal. That will be the focus of the public hearing on November 22nd.
Take a look at your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. He was right up on the back end of that van. Pulled you over for tailgating. Is this your car? Okay, cool. Where are you headed?
Well, we're coming from WSU, and we're scanning early.
What's WSU?
Yeah, I go to university basically. It was an incident that was occurring up there. It was a shooting incident. That is SWAT team and everything.
So we're okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you because of the traffic. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where? Oh,
we're going to be going to Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So we're slightly punchy because we're driving for hours.
Hours, days.
Hours to drive. Well, almost a day.
Okay. And what did you say about some SWAT team thing? Or
yeah, there was a mass shooting and everything.
Where?
This was essentially
interesting.
Well, it's horrifying because he's supposed to the universe, you know what I mean?
So y'all work at the university there?
I actually do work there.
Oh.
PhD in criminal.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that incident. Just yesterday, or?
This happened this morning. About an hour and a half ago. We're still wrapping it up for investigating. I'm not sure there's two shooters because they did shoot somebody.
I see.
And then you don't know about that actually. They were there with shooting out of the window or something.
Interesting. Wow. Okay. So do me a favor and don't follow too close, okay?
Oh.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
I stopped you, man, when you were driving by me there. You were a little too close to back that semi. About one car between you and the back of this trailer. We're about one car going 10 miles an hour, so we're going 60 or 70 miles an hour. We're about 6 or 7 cars. Oh, you guys did?
Yeah, and you said that. So.
You guys stopped by a trooper? We don't have any SUVs. It was a county guy. Was it like a black SUV? Okay, all right. You thought you guys were following too closely? Okay. Today? I'm not going to give you guys another ticket or warning if you just got stopped. Just make sure you give yourself plenty of room, okay? So like I said, it's all about how fast you're going, okay? So if you're going 10 miles an hour, you only need one car. Right? If you're going, so the speed limit here is 7. If you're going 70 miles an hour, you need 7 cars. Yeah. That's the easy way to explain it. Right? Yeah. Okay. It's really, if you're in the B&B manual, it says 2 to 3 seconds. All right. You guys have a safe trip. Where y'all headed?
Thank you so much for the
Where y'all headed to? Huh? Well, where at? PA? It's a long haul. You guys scared of airplanes? Did you? Okay. All right, well, hey, peace out, safe trip.
Thank you,
See you.
sir.
when you're driving by me there, you're a little too close to back that semi. That one car in the back of this trailer. That one car.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.
By negligent operation of a motor vehicle, one count of leaving the scene of personal injury and death. These offenses taken place January 29, 2022 in the town of Canton.
Good morning, ma'am. I'm advising you pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 276, Section 58. Should you be charged with a crime or violate a release condition while this case is pending, you could be held in the House of Correction for up to 90 days without bail. Good morning, Mr. Netti. Good morning, Mr. Lally.
Good morning, Your
Honor. All right. Mr. Lally.
Your Honor, Adam Lally for the Commonwealth. The Commonwealth is requesting that the court set a cash bail in this matter in the amount of $50,000 with some additional conditions. Those conditions being the bail warnings as just read by Your Honor to the defendant, as well as conditions that she stay away and have no contact with the deceased victim's family. The facts of this case, Your Honor, essentially on Friday, this past Friday into Saturday, January 29th, at approximately 6:04 a.m., the Canton Police Department received a 911 call from a woman reporting a male party subsequently identified as the decedent and victim, Mr. John O'Keefe, who was found in the snow at a residence on Fairview Road. At the time of the 911 call, there was heavy snow and the temperature was in the teens. Officers Saraf and Mullaney of the Canton Police were dispatched to the scene along with Canton Fire and EMS. Officer Saraf.
Your Honor, just so the court's aware, I'd like to have a letter that I sent to the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office this weekend. It was faxed on Saturday, where I promised that my client would appear if they just called me. All they had to do was notify me, and I wrote right in the letter that she would report to any police barracks or police station or courthouse to which they directed me. They ignored that and instead got an arrest warrant for my client. However, she knew. She had hired an attorney since January 30th, this Saturday, because the police had come and they had taken her phone and they had taken her car. She knew that they were considering her a suspect, rightly or wrongly. And what did she do? They arrested her at the very address that I included in my letter to the Commonwealth, which the Commonwealth ignored.
You guys brought to my attention some interesting facts. Tom Dickey actually submitted a document to the judge basically saying, listen, I want to suppress this evidence. Why? Because my client's Fourth Amendment rights were violated. He was arrested unlawfully. He was searched unlawfully. And now we have the actual breakdowns on this affidavit that was provided by the attorney. Now, I'm going to be honest, you guys, if this is accurate, this case looks like it's going to be over before it even hits trial. I do this for a living as an expert witness, previously as an officer, as an investigator. I love diving into these details, but this case right here, there's so many intricate parts we're talking about on a chest level. People, even from the law enforcement side and investigators, are already claiming that they found the suspect, that he is truly the person who committed the murder, and that he is guilty before the court of law. They are making these statements, and the media will always caution everybody innocent until proven guilty. You guys, what did the officer say One of the biggest things about this is that I notice is that the officer they're claiming is a rookie officer, 6 months on the job in Alatoona, Pennsylvania. And what does he say? He gets in the media and he's talking about that initial contact. Getting a well-rounded perspective of the state of mind of the officer before he made contact with Luigi is crucial for this case, and I'm explaining to you why. You guys follow me with this one, all right? If you go into a situation and you already have it in your mind that this person is the person, the suspect from New York, the violent suspect who murdered the CEO, if this is him, I have to conduct myself a certain way. I forget my basic training. I forget the rule of law. I forget people's constitutional rights still have to be followed, even though you're excited. To me, after reading what the attorney put out in regards to why he wants to suppress the evidence, to me it sounds like the officers got a little overzealous. They got ahead of themselves. They got too excited. They allowed the adrenaline, the excitement to take charge, to override common sense, to supersede law. Because here's where they went wrong on the ID and how the ID was obtained. Was it presented or was it found? All these things matter, but let's talk about this. We're talking around 9:30 a.m. at McDonald's. Luigi is sitting with his back to the wall, okay? And he has on the left side of him a wall. He's in the corner. This is crucial. This tells me that Luigi purposely planted himself there for this very moment, which lends to the fact that this might be a little bit more deeper than what people can understand. It seems as if this is not only just well thought out, but highly orchestrated. And I'm gonna tell you why. Luigi's back is to the wall. He's sitting in a corner. The only way out for him is on the right side. He can only exit on the right, meaning there must be a table pinned against the wall on the left side as well. He has one entrance, one exit. That's crucial for this when it comes to a police encounter. What happens? A patron comes in, an elderly male at that. Let that be known, okay? That's gonna be, I gotta cover that in another video. An elderly man comes in. Luigi's face is covered. He's wearing a hat. He's not matching the description of the actual wanted suspect or the suspect in question from New York. Remember, at the time, you guys, it's only been maybe 6-7 days since the incident happened. Okay, the suspect has been at large for approximately 7 days. That's important. The only photos that were released by the media were the ones from the cab, were the ones from inside the hostel, and then the ones from the actual encounter. All images wearing different outfits, okay? Different jackets, different hats, hoodies, book bags. Suspect appeared, different body sizes, the face, bone structure, eyes, and even the eyebrows don't look the same, the jawline. When you're really analyzing from different viewpoints, these photos do not all look the same. A lot can be brought in question. So here we are. Luigi sitting down. He's wearing a brown, appears to be brown or orange hat. He has on the medical mask and he has on a jacket, and he is eating food. An old man comes in, says he recognizes him. Bless his heart, the old man must have 20/20 vision. He then makes this known to the McDonald's employee. The McDonald's employee, I don't know if he took a look, but we know he made a phone call to 911. The police show up, 2 officers show up at the scene. What did the rookie officer say?
So whenever we got on scene there, we were able to pretty much find where he was at in the restaurant. And as soon as he was wearing a blue medical mask. As soon as we pulled that down, or we asked him to pull it down, me, my partner and I recognized him immediately, just from what we saw in the media with photos, videos. We just didn't even think twice about it. We knew that was our guy, but he was very cooperative with us. Didn't really give us too many issues. Once we found out his identity, we took it from there.
How does it feel after 6 months on the job as a law enforcement officer to be part of
I can't say I was expecting it by any means, but it feels good to get a guy like that off the street, especially starting my career this way. It feels great.
He immediately states that, listen, when me and my partner showed up, I immediately recognized him from the suspect from New York. At that moment, you guys, as an officer, a lot of things happen, especially if you don't have the experience. The adrenaline kicks in. You lose all sense of understanding. Common sense goes out the window. You forget about police policy. You forget about procedure. You forget about constitutional law. And if you're not careful, you find yourself jumping to conclusions. You find yourself acting out of order, and that can cost you the case. That can cost you evidence. We have this concept called the fruit of the poisonous tree. When you eat from that fruit, you guys, everything from that fruit becomes tainted. The fruit is anything that you do unlawfully, illegally in that moment, and you obtain anything after, becomes inadmissible in court and could possibly be thrown out. In this case, what are we looking at? Was Luigi's Fourth Amendment violated? Let's talk about it. What does the Fourth Amendment say? You are free from any unlawful searches and seizures of your person and your papers. What are your papers, you guys? Your papers are your ID. All right, your paper is your ID. People just can't take your name and run it without justification, without evidence, without probable cause. You have to have probable cause. So, what are we looking at? Did Luigi commit a crime? Was he in the process of committing a crime? Would the average officer, average person think that a crime was being committed? This is what's needed. These are the elements that are needed to look at whether or not you have the right to take the ID, demand the ID, make demands, and state that you are investigating a crime or that a crime has occurred and that's why you're here. Why were they here? A suspicious person. The McDonald's worker calls and say, hey, listen, I think this guy looks like the guy that's been plastered on TV. Okay, police show up, 2 officers. The first thing that they do, according to the document, according to his attorney, they said that they posted themselves in a position blocking the exit out of the table where Luigi was sitting. But then what the officer said? The officer said, hey, when we showed up, we told him to lower his mask. That's a command. Now, the officers are responding to a suspicious person. That's not a crime. A suspicious person, the best you could do is you can inquire and ask questions. You guys, this is considered a consensual encounter. There is no evidence of a crime, and at the time this actually happened in New York, they had no information suggesting that the individual that they believed to be Luigi was actually the shooter at the time or alleged suspect. They claimed he's a person of interest. The person from the hostel is a person of interest. He wasn't wanted. Okay, so here's the other problem. If the officers are responding like this person is in fact the suspect, the criminal, their attitude and the way they conduct their investigation is going to reflect their perception of the individual they're making contact with. This is a problem because you still have to be careful. You have to go in and assuming that this person is not the person. That's how you actually investigate. That's how I did it. But it doesn't mean that you lower your guard. It doesn't mean that you don't take precaution. It just means that you have to be careful and understand that this person still has rights. Now let's break it down. They show up, they post up. The attorney says that they were in arm reach of Luigi, meaning that they were in physical control. They could still physically control him by reaching out. This puts the person in the mindset that, the officers are so close to me. They're asking me these questions. These questions or these statements sound like commands. This doesn't come off as they're asking me questions just out of curiosity. This seems like an interrogation. What do I mean by that? A consensual encounter is exactly what the word means, consensual. This has to be a mutual agreement. I have to agree to have a conversation with you. But I also have to, in my mind, know that I don't have to talk to you and that I'm free to go. In a consensual encounter, an officer is simply not allowed to give lawful commands because the officer is not investigating any type of crime. The consent means that you're willing to have it, but you don't have to have it, and that you're always free to go. In a consensual encounter, you're not under arrest. But here's the caveat. The caveat is, even though a person may not be under arrest and the officer believes that, it knows that I'm not arresting this person, the officer's behaviors and actions and statements can make a reasonable person feel that they are not free to go. And if you're not free to go, you guys are being detained. And if you're being detained, essentially you are arrested in that moment, okay? And in that case, this is where things get tricky. Here's where things go wrong for the officers. The way you conduct yourself, the way you stand, the way you talk, the things that you say, all these things can be misconstrued as being detained. What Attorney Dickey is saying is that the officers were so close to his client, the way they stood over him, the way they blocked his entrance from being able to get up and move out of the actual seating area at McDonald's. He felt cornered, his back's against the wall, he has a wall on the left side, the officers are in front of him, the officers blocking the entrance. They ask him immediately, hey, I need you to stand up. They don't tell him why they're here. They don't tell them why they're talking to him. They don't explain to them anything. They just start telling him what to do. Hey, stand up, I need you to turn around, put your hands on your head. So could you imagine, you're eating a chicken nugget, you're minding your business. It's 9:30 in the morning. Officers walk in and they say, lower your mask. You're like, what? Why? In the mind of the officer, he believes that he found the suspect. Now his attitude and behavior shifts. Now he's treating you like what? Like a criminal. What do you say? I need you to stand up. Put your hands over your head. What's going on, officer? And then they start patting you down. What's going on? They're checking. They're all in between your legs, around your waist. They're looking for weapons. You guys, this is no longer a consensual encounter. You essentially indirectly are accusing me of something. You're saying that I'm involved in something. This is not consensual. We have now shifted based on the officer's behavior from consensual to now this is a custodial interrogation. We are in the interrogation phase now. But you never told the individual, you never told the citizen why you're stopping them, why you're talking to them, why you're patting them down. You didn't say, you just said, hey, according to the attorney and according to the document and what they saw in the body cam is that the officers told him that he's suspicious. He's been there too long. Hold on, what? You've overstayed your welcome is what the officers told him. Now that's dangerous language. Why? Because now you're saying that you're investigating a loitering case. Now you're assuming or you're insinuating that this is loitering. Hey, we're here on a loitering complaint, which is a legal complaint, but here's the problem. The problem is Luigi was a paid patron. He bought food, he was eating, and he was only there for approximately 30 minutes. Now this is dangerous territory the officers put themselves in because now they came in and they're accusing the individual of loitering. You overstayed your welcome. I need you to stand up, put your hands on your head, spread your legs. Now I'm going all in your stuff. I'm patting you down, I'm looking for weapons. But what crime did I commit? You guys, this is bad business. This is shaky waters. There's a book bag present at the scene, allegedly belongs to Luigi. The officers take the book bag and remove it away from his presence. You guys, essentially, the actions of the officers are telling exactly what it is. You're detained. You're detained. They're asking him questions. We don't know specifically what they asked him. Right? Luigi is enduring this for over 15 minutes. What's happening in this process? Apparently, they're asking for his ID. What does he do? According to the document, guys, he hands over an ID. This is actually the same ID that they're saying was found or used in the hostel in New York by the gentleman that's seen in the camera. Well, that ID, according to law enforcement, is a fraudulent ID. Obviously, it's not Luigi's name. This is a fake ID, you guys. This is against the law to present this to law enforcement. Well, technically, yes, but technically, no, depending on the situation. Now, this is where the ID is crucial for this case. This is the backbone of this entire investigation. You guys, listen, this entire thing hinges on the cornerstone of this ID. This thing right here, you break the law. No, it looks like the officers broke the law. Here's where things go south. Luigi never committed a crime. The officers are assuming that he did. They're conducting this as if he is a criminal, that he committed a crime. They tell him that at some point in time, he's unwanted at the McDonald's. They make that known. They're treating him as a loitering suspect. They're demanding things out of him, like his name and information. He hands them an ID that's fraudulent. The officers take it, they leave, and they go run the information. Okay? Obviously, nothing comes up because it's fake. They come back and they double down. There's more officers that show up. Now there's about 7 to 8 police officers that are surrounding the area inside a McDonald's. This is where things get even worse. Now you have a crowd of officers. Your bag has been removed from your presence. You believe you're under the impression you didn't do anything wrong. You guys, the moment he gave him that ID should be criminal. Only if the officers are investigating a legitimate crime and that you have been alerted and aware that you are currently under investigation. The truth be told, you can lie to the police, believe it or not. Here's the reality. When you're in a consensual encounter with the officer doesn't have a legal authority to ask, command, demand anything out of you, especially your ID and information. The officer asks you your name, you could, for all you care, sir, what's your name? Am I under arrest? Am I being investigated? No, I'm just curious. Oh, well, my name is Harry, first name, last name Scrotum. Guess what? That's perfectly legal. We've had people call and say, hey, my name is Seymour Butts. What are you going to do about it? What's your date of birth? My date of birth is FU. Okay? If you don't have a legal reason, I'm not a crime. I didn't commit a crime. I'm not under investigation. I don't have to give you anything. So if I give you a false name when I'm not committing a crime and I'm not under investigation and you never told me, technically it's not illegal. Checkmate.
All right.
All right, good morning. We are on the record. This is cause number CR 29222805. This is State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. Mr. Kohberger is in custody. He is appearing here in court with his attorneys, Ms. Taylor, Mr. Logsdon, Mr. Thompson, Ms. Jennings appearing on behalf of the state. This is the time set in the matter for the preliminary hearing status conference. So I am going to inquire of counsel. Ms. Taylor, what's the status at this time?
Thank you, Your Honor. We are going to ask the court to set preliminary hearing out into June. We would request the 3rd or 4th week of June and probably 4 or 5 days for preliminary hearing. Mr. Kohberger understands his right to a timely preliminary hearing, and he's willing to waive the timeliness to allow us time to obtain discovery in this case and be prepared.
And Mr. Thompson, are you in agreement with that?
The state has no objection to that, Your Honor. Ms. Taylor reached out to us by email yesterday with her proposal. On reflection, the state's calendar would be better in the month of July, but we will make the end of June work if that's the court's preference. And I haven't had a chance to talk to Ms. Taylor about that. I'm sorry, I know that's last minute.
That's okay. The court's calendar is going to be better towards the end of June, early July. So would that work, Ms. Taylor, for your scheduling on your other matters?
Your Honor, yes. If we take that 4th week in June, that's actually best.
Okay.
All rise. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Good morning, everybody. We have some people on Zoom here too, so we'll put a high rate. Okay, let's get on the record, please.
you. Okay, we are now on the record in State of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger, CR 2922-2803. Mr. Kohberger is in the courtroom along with his attorney, Ms. Taylor. I believe also part of the team is Jay Logston and Elisa Massa, who is participating by Zoom, I believe. The state is represented by Mr. Thompson, Lake County Prosecutor's Office, or Prosecuting Attorney. Ms. Jennings is of that office too, Lake County Prosecutor's Office. Also part of that team is Ingrid Beatty and Jeff Nye, both from the Idaho Attorney General's Office. I'm John Judge. If you don't know me, I'm the Lake County District Judge, and I'll be presiding over this case. So, Mr. Kohberger, you've already heard a lot of what I'm going to tell you at your initial appearance, but I'll repeat it to you because it's important, and I want to remind you of these issues. So I'll briefly cover your rights, the charges against you, and the maximum penalties if you are found guilty or if you plead guilty. So I'm going to start with the rights. You have a constitutional right to have an attorney represent you throughout these proceedings. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, then one is appointed at public expense. Ms. Taylor and her team have already been appointed, so that's taken care of. You have a right to a speedy and public jury trial where the state would be required to prove every element of each charge against you beyond a reasonable doubt. At that trial, you would have the right to cross-examine the witnesses called against you. That means to see, hear, and question them, to call witnesses to testify for you, and if you choose to testify in your own defense. But you're not required to testify because you also have a right of silence. That right is protected under the Idaho and federal constitutions, so you can remain silent throughout these court proceedings, and that can't be held against you in any way. What you do need to remember, though, is that anything you do say, other than to your lawyers, could be used against you in a later court proceeding. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. You also have a right to appeal any final decision of the court. In order to exercise that right, you need to file a notice of appeal within 42 days of that final decision, or that right is waived. Also, if you are not a United States citizen, any finding of guilt in this state could have adverse consequences to your legal status. Do you understand these rights?
Yes.
Any questions about the rights?
No.
All right.
Just a good old boy, never meaning no harm. Beats all you never saw, been in trouble with the law since the day they was born. Straightening the curves, yeah, flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will. Making their way the only way they know how. That's just